I greet you and with joy and want to talk to you about how, in some way, instructions or insights on how to walk in freedom. I've lived longer than you have, I'm pretty sure. And I've learned some things, and I want to try to share what it is that I've learned. And the principle is from when Paul says these words, righteousness, peace, and joy. And I want to use the word righteousness now as it is in the Greek, which is like alignment. I align myself properly to God and His purpose. The moment I align myself with Him, there is a whole new way of living that brings joy and peace. And it really has been kind of dramatic for me to find out that it's our behavior that brings distance between us and the Lord. The distance isn't real, but the distance is experiential and kind of existential. And what I've been saying to you and others that have been following this has been the idea of being governed, invisibly governed by the agape of God. He intends for us to live in freedom. Galatians 5:1, for freedom Christ set us free. Now, that freedom depends upon our understanding what it is that causes us to lose that freedom. And it's more than sin. Everybody's sin conscious, but there's a discipline which is the agape of God is the governing factor. We've talked about being governed by one word. We've also tried carefully to impart to our readers and hearers what it means to be invisibly governed. But what I want, and I've even used the same theme, which is living room, attic, and the basement. And these three forms of living, I want to illustrate for you. You can draw them or take them off the TV or whatever. But what I want you to do is understand what it is Father is reaching for. When He created us, He gave us some creative, instinctive, Father-like boundaries. When we walk in those boundaries, life works. When we break those boundaries, pain, pressure, failure, stuff starts coming down on us. And I want to start with what we call learning to stay in the living room. It means there is a way of walking with the Lord, very natural, very beautiful. There is two lines, attic and basement, and between there is the living room. Christ, this is in, I think it's in Luke. What is that? It's in Mark. No, Mark 2:15 says that Jesus is fellowshipping with these people, and they are eating and drinking together. Now, He didn't eat and drink with them so He could win them to the Lord. It's a natural life in the living room. He is wanting them to understand that He has come to restore our alignment with the Father. He has come to bring to us a kind of joy that is the most unbelievable thing you've ever touched. And third, that we would understand peace. Now, peace is a governmental word. We only have peace when we are aligned. And so he is now. The living room is my determination to live between these borders, created instinctive borders given to me by God the Father. Not society, not government, no. These two borders were assigned to us instinctively as created beings. When I stay in those borders and live in the living room, I begin to see and understand, and I relate to people, and things begin to work really good, and find myself growing and understanding God and understanding people. I am aligned, I am full of joy, and of course, the peace of God, the peace of God is present. Now, the second one is really, really critical for us because it's the one we have more potential to touch, which is, the second one is what I call the attic. In an attempt to make all this happen, I get really, really religious. And I squeeze what is normal into a narrow place, and I am never going to sin again. I'm never going to fail God again, and I'm going to prove to the world that I really am the right kind of believer. Now, when you do that, that's from Colossians 3 and 2 and 3, you'll see Paul saying, please don't go there. It doesn't yield what you think it's going to yield. I'm not saying there isn't time to fast or scripture. I'm not saying. I'm talking about trying to take the Christian life and make it work. And that narrow thing means that I am now abnormal. I am religious. People don't want to be around me. I find myself offending people with my religious behavior. I could tell you war stories. I did it, so the reason I'm a authority on this is because, man, I was one religious dude, and now watch the third one. It's really scary. When it doesn't work in the basement, in the attic, I find myself plunged into the basement. Now, when you see the basement, couple words there that I want to call your attention to. My behavior is manic, and my behavior is hedonistic. I am breaking the boundaries that God established. When I work out of the boundaries, there's distance, intentional distance between me and my Father. When I stay in the boundaries, that alignment and peace, joy and peace becomes mine. When I go up to the attic, I find myself all disturbed and hassled, and I'm going through all kinds of changes. When I plunge into the basement, then I began to break boundaries, enter spheres, and my behavior is erratic. It's manic, and then it's broken loose, and I am injuring myself, I'm injuring my family, I'm injuring others that are around me, and I have lost or failed or refused to live in kingdom behavior. If you can see these three now and get them in picture, here's all I'm saying, and I've said it before. We do not live in the attic. We refuse to live in the basement. I'm going to live in the boundaries that God established for humanity, and I'm going to live in a way that brings alignment. Oh, what a word. Joy, it's my strength. And peace, which is governmental, and that government brings peace with everyone and everything, including myself.